Ah, cha-ching, baby. Is that the sound of money falling into the hands of the proletariat? No, it is the sound of Mike Montone. That is me. I am he. This is the Savage Sack Tap. Willkommen and bienvenue. I am in no way qualified to explain or discuss whatever is going on with Robinhood or GameStop or any of that. I'm not a finance guy. It's something I'd like to learn about because it seems very interesting, but I am just wildly unqualified to opine on any of this. What it sounds like is that a bunch of finance bros were trying to make some easy cash off of GameStop stock, and some Redditors used their own tactics against them to fuck with whatever a stock short is, which as I understand, involves selling it and then buying it back at some. Again, I don't fucking know. And then the day trading app Robinhood got involved and tried to cockblock the Redditors, and then the subreddit got shut down over allegations of hate speech because that's their fucking go-to for anyone they want to silence. And now we have Dave Portnoy, AOC, Donald Trump Jr., and Elon Musk joining forces to fight for the common investor. That is my rudimentary understanding of the events of this week. But again, I do have to really reiterate and emphasize that I do not know how any of this shit actually works. So I'm just enjoying the chaos. And honestly, I'm hoping, my big concerns here, I'm hoping that none of my mutual funds that I'm invested in are touched by this. And of course, I do not want to see anything bad happen to the Mets because their new owner, Steve Cohen, is a hedge fund guy, and he apparently gave money to the hedge fund involved in this thing because he's friends with the guy who runs it, which sounds perfectly legal, but because it's 2021, we've got people just hurling shit at him on Twitter, telling him to sell the team. I guess Portnoy's at war with him right now. He should absolutely not sell the team. Do not, if you want my piece of public opinion, Steve, you do not sell the fucking Mets. Unless they find you with your dick in a child, you do not sell the New York Mets. We need Big Uncle Stevie to empty out his fucking bank account and buy us a World Series, okay? Those are my priorities as it pertains to all of this. First, don't fuck with my cheddar. Second, do no harm to the Mets' World Series chances. And then, once all of that is in place, I will sit back and just enjoy the chaos. Because we are being honest, finance guys do come off as massive douches. The Wolf of Wall Street, Boiler Room, it looks like a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. There is nothing that I would enjoy more than a day of jerking off, doing coke, dwarf tossing, partying with sluts in the Hamptons, and making shit tons of cash. That sounds like an absolute delight. Anyone who tells you that they don't want to live like that is a fucking liar and an asshole. But the thing is this. If you see these finance guys walking around the city, that's when you realize that as cool as all of the shit that they do in their free time is, a lot of them are just tremendous fucking ass clowns. Not the ones that I played sports with in high school and college, of which there are many. Those guys are fucking cool. I will chug natties with you fine gentlemen any day. Assuming I know a few of you watch. I promise I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about this whole other class of fucking waspy douchebags who work in the financial sector in Manhattan, and they are just the absolute fucking worst. If you've heard me talk about the Midtown Vest guys on this show before, those guys are all finance bros, and the firms that they work for sort of demand this kind of Hitler brown shirt conformity. So they all wear Patagonia vests over blue, white, or pink button-down shirts, and they stroll the sidewalks of New York City and Hoboken with what can only be described as a wildly undeserved sense of self-confidence and entitlement. I remember I was waiting for the the LBI shuttle one day a couple years back. And for people from outside of the New York City area, LBI is stands for Long Beach Island, which is basically the Hamptons, except it's on a 19-mile strip of land off of the coast of South Jersey, about 45 minutes north of Atlantic City, and like an hour, maybe less, across from Philadelphia if you're trying to triangulate. And it used to be a working class vacation spot, but has since turned into the summer locale of choice for the biggest assholes in the New York City area. My parents live there, by the way, so I'm a frequent visitor myself. Like I said, the biggest assholes in the area. I am an asshole, just a different variety than the finance assholes, of course. Anyway, the island is intentionally difficult to get to. No one wants you there. NJ Transit doesn't go there. In fact, there is no form of public transportation that reaches the island because they specifically want to keep people away. But there is a charter bus that will take you there for about $90 round trip, and it's got a bathroom, very comfy seats. If you book it for the right time, if you get like the mid afternoon or like the 3 o'clock bus before everyone gets off work, you'll pretty much get an entire row on the bus to yourself. It's fucking great. Free Wi-Fi. It drops you off in each town. There's a drop off on the island, so you get dropped off like 2 blocks from your house. It's perfect. You can booze on board, so I get a little loose. I listen to some Joe Rogan while I enjoy a snack. It's great. It's a nice, crisp 90-minute drive, wonderful service. But the problem is the bus is also used by hordes of douchebags. If you ever want to see the biggest assholes in New York City in their natural environment, I highly recommend swinging by the corner of 42nd Street and 9th Ave around 5:30 on a summer Friday afternoon, because that's where everyone lines up for this thing. They line up. They all have their booze and their stupid fucking vests, and they just dress like complete assholes, and they berate the staff over the most minor of conveniences. I remember I saw this one guy who looked like he was he had sort of a Jeff Bezos look going on. He was in like his late 40s, maybe early 50s, Bermuda shorts, polo shirt, he had like a sweater of some kind wrapped around his neck, and he was just red-faced and fucking screaming at the line attendant because departure time was approaching and the bus hadn't arrived yet. Because it's fucking Midtown Manhattan. Like, the bus has to do a little finagling to get to the fucking spot, and it wasn't there yet. And this guy's just going fucking ballistic. And no doubt in my mind that this motherfucker makes well into the 6 figures, at least low 6 figures. So he has nothing to fucking complete. He's about to board a charter bus to a private vacation getaway, and he's blowing his fucking stack on a guy who's still at work at fucking 6 o'clock on a summer Friday. So that's the dynamic there. And there was this part of me that just wanted to walk up and jack him in the fucking face because he was being such a grade A piece of shit, and the little act he was putting on went on for far longer than necessary. Like, to the point where, have you ever seen someone going off in public and first it's funny and then it becomes embarrassing to watch? It was that kind of thing. But the line was, I was largely outnumbered. Like, there are a few LBI also you have a few North Jersey bros like me who just want to go down and have a couple fucking beers on the beach and not bother anybody. But the line was very much filled with dozens of people who looked like they were auditioning for for some sort of reboot of the Great Gatsby set along the Jersey Shore, and who are definitely all too familiar with the phrase "you'll be hearing from my lawyer." So I thought better of committing a broad daylight assault and just went back to puffing on my vape and drinking IPA. But money is really a fascinating thing, because without it, there is no chance whatsoever that any woman would ever want to fuck a guy who behaves like that. But that sort of thing really is, just screaming at some guy over a bus not leaving on time is a microcosm of finance douche behavior. So I think that is, if you're wondering why people are cheering for this fucking GameStonk thing, why they're cheering for the Redditors, it's because of shit like that. It's because everyone, even if you're not bothered by people making obscene amounts of money. Like I love it when people make obscene amounts of money. You should want to make obscene amounts of money. But when you and your cohorts kind of act like raging cocksuckers and make obscene amounts of money, then people really cheer when someone comes along and shits in your cornflakes. Um, the guys doing this, by the way, the finance guys who are screaming at bus line attendants, are all Caucasians. All right, when when people bitch about white people, I have to assume that they're talking about. This is why I don't really get bothered when people bitch about white people, because I always assume that they're talking about guys like this and cousin fucking rednecks who still fly the Confederate flag outside of their trailers. So I don't get too bothered because I don't fit into either of these categories. I'm Italian, all right, and we are considered spicy, as I understand. Urban Dictionary tells me that Italians aren't really considered white; we're considered spicy white, which is good. I would rather be spicy than I would than be one of these cocksuckers screaming at somebody on a fucking bus line.